John slid along the narrow corridor of the starship horizon with a steady step. He paused at the cargo bay door. The blue glow of the nebula seeped through the small porthole, casting soft light on the metal floor. His hand hovered over the control panel. He heard a faint rustle. He opened the door. Rows of supply crates stood tall, their labels worn by time. A small shape huddled behind one crate. John crouched slowly, careful not to startle it. The shape looked up, bright round eyes stared back, full of fear and hunger. She was small, no bigger than a child on Earth, with pale green skin marked by tiny spots. Her thin frame shook. John felt a tug in his chest. He kneeled before her. The girl looked at him, her eyes wide. John spoke softly. "I'm John. Do you need help?" She did not answer. She pressed her hands to her stomach and her eyes closed. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a ration bar. He held it out. The girl hesitated, then reached for it. Her small fingers closed around the bar. John broke it in half and gave her the larger piece. She ate quickly, her jaw moving fast. Crumbs fell onto the floor. Her breathing eased. His tongue crackled. "John, are you okay?" asked Pete, his friend and fellow pilot. Pete's voice was calm but curious. John swallowed and answered, "I found someone in the cargo bay. She is hungry. I shared my ration." He paused. "I have one packet left." Pete's tone turned firm. "You know our rules. You must keep your ration." John nodded, even though Pete could not see him. He felt the weight of the rule, but he could not ignore the girl's need. He checked her more. She had no uniform or gear. Her clothes were tattered. He gently touched her arm. Her skin was cool. He looked into her eyes. There was fear and hope mixed in her gaze. John told Pete, "I will take her to the med bay. I can ask Lily to help." Lily was the ship's medic. She was a careful woman with kind eyes. Her station was down the hall. John lifted the girl in his arms, careful of her thin legs. The girl relaxed, resting her head on his shoulder. John walked back through the corridor. Each step echoed under the neon lights. He found Lily in the med bay. She was preparing a nutrient feed. When John entered, she turned with a smile. "You found a stowaway?" she asked. John set the girl on the exam table. Lily checked the girl's pulse. She frowned slightly. "She is weak, dehydrated." John watched as Lily worked. She inserted a small tube and started a slow drip of fluid. The girl's breathing slowed. Lily looked up. "We need more supplies. She will need vitamins and, protein." John nodded. In the control room, Pete and Maria watched the feed. Maria was the ship's engineer. She shook her head. "John will break all rules. We can't risk our lives for a stranger." Pete answered, "We cannot ignore this child's need. She is alone in space. John is right to help." "In the med bay." John stayed by the table. He talked softly to the girl. She did not answer. After a few minutes, her eyelids fluttered. She opened her eyes. She looked at John. John smiled. Lily stepped back. "Her vitals are improving. She will need rest." John asked, "What should we call her?" Lily paused. "Emma." Emma closed her eyes again. John sat beside her. He thought about his own home on Earth. He had a sister, Sarah. He remembered how he felt when he left her. He glanced at the corridor window. The nebula drifted by, blue and green clouds swirling. Time moved slowly in the med bay. The hum of machines and soft beep of Emma's monitor filled the air. John wondered how she came aboard. He would ask later. For now, she needed care. After an hour, Emma stirred and sat up. John offered a small bowl of soft paste. She took it and ate slowly. Each spoonful seemed to give her strength. Petals of pale pink on her cheeks showed life returning. Lily reviewed her chart. Her recovery will take time, but she is safe now. "John, you were right." John nodded, relief and pride in his chest. Emma finished the paste. She looked up at John. He extended his hand. She placed her small hand in his. John felt a spark of hope. He left the med bay to inform command. As he walked, the ship's alarm stayed silent. Outside, stars gleamed against the dark void. John thought of the long journey ahead. He knew this act of kindness would change everything. The rules of the horizon would bend for Emma, and John would stand by her side. The next morning John stood in the mess hall. Plates of food lay untouched. Crew members whispered. Pete sat across from Maria. "He broke our ration rule again," Maria said. "We cannot let him decide for all of us." Pete shook his head. John saw a child in need. "We are explorers, not soldiers. Rules are for safety, but we have compassion too." He looked at the closed door to the med bay. Inside lay Emma and her mother. On the other side of the ship, Kate paced near the cargo hold. She held Emma's hand. Emma's small steps struggled to keep pace. Kate's pale face showed worry and relief. She spoke softly in her own tongue. Emma answered in broken English. Their voices echoed in the quiet hall. Inside the med bay, Lily adjusted Emma's drip. The girl slept peacefully. Kate entered without knocking. Lily looked up. "Kate?" she asked. Kate nodded and stepped forward. Lily paused her work. "I need to ask you some questions." Kate sat beside Emma. "Thank you," she said. Her voice was gentle. Lily nodded. "We will help you both. First, I need to know your names and your situation." Kate took a deep breath. "I am Kate. This is my daughter, Emma. We come from Zalera 4. Our planet suffered a great war. Our supplies ended." Emma grew weak. Kate's eyes filled with tears. Lily placed a hand on Kate's arm. "We understand. You are safe here. I will care for you both." Down the corridor, Lila, the ship's navigator, overheard footsteps. She frowned. "In the command deck, Captain." Wells scanned reports. He sighed. He had orders to keep the ship light. Extra passengers meant more risk. He tapped his fingers on the console. A meeting was needed. John entered the mess hall. He saw Pete and Maria. They stopped talking. He nodded. "How is everyone?" Pete answered, "We worry about you. Command wants a meeting about Kate and Emma." John's jaw tightened. He thought of Emma's bright eyes. He would stand for them. He walked to the conference room. Pete followed. Captain Wells sat at the head of the table. Maria and Pete took seats beside John. Lola and Maria gathered data on screens. Wells began, "We face a difficult choice. We have 2 stowaways. We must decide whether to keep them aboard." John spoke first. "They are refugees. Emma is a child. We cannot turn them away. Our mission is to help others." Wells looked at him. "I admire your heart, John. But this ship has limited supplies. We risk everyone's safety." Maria leaned forward. "We can ration more carefully. We have reserves in the hold. We can adjust course to resupply sooner." Lila added, "I calculated we can reach the outpost in 3 days. We can manage the extra load." Wells glanced at the map. 3 extra days add more risk of solar storms. The route is dangerous. Pete cleared his throat. Kate is weak. Emma needs care. If we send them away, they die. A silence fell. The hum of the ship filled the room. Captain Wells closed his eyes. He took a breath. "I will agree, but on one condition. John, you will take responsibility for them. If supplies run too low, you decide which route we take." John nodded. "I accept." Wells looked at the others. "It is settled. We help Kate and Emma." Outside, Kate and Emma sat on the metal floor. Emma played with a small toy that John gave her. The toy was a simple metal bird. Emma turned it in her hands, eyes curious. Kate watched her daughter and smiled. John entered quietly. Kate stood. He held a tray with 2 bowls of hot stew. The steam rose. "Lily made this," he said. Kate guided Emma's hand to the spoon. Little Emma ate slowly. Each bite gave her strength. Kate looked at John. "Thank you for saving us. We owe you our lives." John smiled gently. "You help others when you can. It is nothing." Emma finished her stew. She pointed at John. "Thank you," she said in a small voice. John knelt. "You are welcome, Emma. Rest now." He patted her head. Emma leaned against him. Later, John and Kate stood by a porthole. Outside, stars glinted in the void. Kate pointed at the nebula. "My home looked like that once," she said. John listened. "Tell me about it." Kate described green fields and blue rivers. She spoke of families and songs. John closed his eyes and imagined in the corridor. Pete and Maria walked together.
Pete
Sighed. John will do right, he cares more than most. Maria nodded. He always does, but I hope we made the right choice. Back in the med bay, Lily reviewed supplies. She marked the charts. She made plans for vitamins and protein. She prepared to care for Kate and Emma. The soft hum of the machines was comforting. John returned to his quarters. He opened a small box. Inside lay a photo of his sister Sarah. He had not seen her in years. He touched the glass. He thought of the bond between siblings. He wondered if Kate felt the same for Emma. The ship drifted through space. Days would pass before the outpost. Kate slept softly in a cot. Emma curled beside her. John stood guard just outside the door. He watched over them as protector. That night, a faint alarm sounded. John ran to the control deck. Layla looked at the console. "We have a minor hull breach in Sector 3. John and Pete followed her. They found a small crack. Maria joined them with tools. Together they patched the breach. Kate and Emma slept soundly in safe quarters. After repairs, the crew gathered in the mess hall. Captain Wells stood in front of them. "We faced a test. We chose compassion. I am proud. We will reach the outpost soon." Crew members cheered softly. Kate and Emma watched from the doorway. Emma waved. John waved back. Kate smiled, tears in her eyes. In the darkness of space, hope had found a home on the horizon. And John knew that no matter what came next, they would face it together. The ship drifted closer to the supply outpost. John stood on the deck, watching the stars. He thought about the journey so far. Kate and Emma slept in their quarters. John felt nervous. Would they find help? In the morning, Lily knocked on John's door. "John, breakfast is ready," she said. John followed her to the mess hall. The crew ate quietly. Captain Wells entered and spoke. "We arrive at the outpost in 2 hours. Prepare docking procedures." The crew nodded and left to their stations. John returned to the quarters. He found Kate holding Emma. Emma played with the metal bird toy. Kate looked tired but relieved. "John," she said softly, "can we talk?" John sat beside her. Kate took his hand. "Thank you for everything. I want to explain more about my home." John nodded. Kate described Zalera 4. "Our fields glowed at night with blue flowers. We gathered light from our sun, but war came. Machines destroyed our crops. Families fled to the sea. Supplies ran out." Emma listened, her eyes sad. John squeezed Kate's hand. "I wish I could help more." Just then, a slight tremor shook the ship. Warning lights blinked. Alarms remained silent. John and Kate stood. They hurried to the deck. Lily and Pete were already there. Lila called out, "A small meteor cluster ahead. We need to change course." Captain Wells ordered, "Adjust engines to avoid the debris field." John joined Maria at the engine controls. Together, they boosted thrust and turned the ship. Outside the porthole, fiery rocks passed close. Sparks flew across the glass. The ship shuddered but held steady. After a tense minute, they cleared the field. The crew exhaled. Kate and Emma watched in awe. Emma pointed at the porthole. "Wow," she whispered. With danger past, the crew prepared to dock. John, Pete, and Maria guided the ship into the bay. Hydraulic arms clamped the hull. Lights turned green. They had arrived. Down a gangway, Emily and Nathan greeted them. They were officers at the outpost. Emily wore a uniform with silver stripes. Nathan wore a badge. They led John and the crew to a conference room. The room was small, with metal walls and a single table. Emily spoke first. "Thank you for bringing these refugees to us. We will supply food and medicine." Kate rose and bowed her head. "I am grateful." Emma hid behind her mother's leg. Nathan smiled and handed Emma a small plush toy. Emma hugged it. Outside, a supply convoy unloaded crates. John and Maria helped carry boxes. The outpost buzzed with activity. Soldiers moved in formation. Workers loaded pallets. The air smelled of oil and metal. Kate and Lily entered a storage room. Lily sorted medical supplies. Kate watched, learning. "Tell me what you need," Lily said. Kate listed bottles and packets. Lily packed them into a crate labeled Medical Aid. Emma wandered and found a small garden dome. Inside, plants grew under artificial lights. Emma touched the green leaves. A gentle voice said, "Hi there." A botanist named Clara came closer. She knelt. "Would you like to plant a seed?" Emma's eyes lit up. Clara handed her a small pot and a seed. Emma placed the seed in soil, patting it gently. Later, John and Kate walked along a metal walkway. They watched as ships landed and took off. Kate asked, "How long will we stay?" John shrugged. "Until your world can send ships. We help you then." Kate smiled but looked away. In a corner of the outpost, Pete and Maria discussed supplies. Maria frowned. "These will not last if we share too much. We must plan," Pete agreed. "John's course added extra days. We need to be careful." Maria nodded, checking her tablet. The sun set outside. Artificial lights glowed. Kate and Emma returned to John's quarters with crates. They sorted supplies. Emma carefully placed vitamin packages into a box. Kate stacked medical bottles. John watched, heart warm. That night, John and Kate sat in the mess hall after others left. They shared a meal of stew and bread. Emma slept on Kate's lap. John asked, "What comes next?" Kate looked at him. "We will travel back to Zalera 4 with these supplies." "We can rebuild," John smiled. "I will go with you if you wish." Kate's eyes shone. Emma stirred and woke. She smiled at John. He winked and made a funny face. Emma giggled. Kate laughed softly. John felt joy. In the control room, Captain Wells reviewed the logs. He saw the ship's records. He pressed a button. "John to deck 3, John answered. Wells said, "You did well. The crew respects you more now." John nodded. Wells continued, "When you return, we will decide our next mission together. For now, enjoy your success." John left the control room and found Maria. "We made the right choice," he said. Maria smiled. "Yes, compassion won." They shook hands. Back in quarters, John tucked Emma under a blanket. Kate kissed her forehead. John watched them leave. He looked at the porthole, seeing stars beyond. He thought about tomorrow's journey. He whispered, "Good night, Emma. Good night, Kate." Emma mumbled, "Good night, John." Kate nodded. "Thank you again." John turned off the light. He left quietly. Alone, John sat and wrote a message to his sister Sarah. He typed, "I saved a mother and child today. They will return to their home. I hope you are proud." He pressed send. Time passed slowly. Outside, the outpost lights hummed. Inside, John dreamed of new adventures. Compassion had changed his path, and he knew it would guide him forward. The next morning, the Horizon prepared to leave the outpost. The crew loaded cargo holds with supplies for Zalera 4. John watched as crates of food and medicine were secured. Kate and Emma stood nearby. Kate held Emma's hand. Emma looked excited as she saw the supplies. Captain Wells announced, "All hands, prepare for departure." John helped Kate strap Emma into a small seat near the ship's center. Emma waved at Clara, the botanist, who held a small potted plant. Emma smiled and hugged the plant. John entered the control room. Pete and Maria took their stations. Layla tracked the route. Wells sat at the captain's seat. John sat beside Kate on the deck. Kate watched the stars through the porthole. The engines roared. The ship lifted from the landing pad. The crew cheered softly as they left the outpost. The hangar doors closed. Behind them, the Horizon glided into space. Outside, the fields of stars stretched. Emma pressed her face to the glass. Kate placed a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Look, Emma, your home is ahead." Emma nodded, her eyes bright. John tapped the console. "Engage jump drive." A bright flash filled the cabin. The ship vanished from view. When they arrived at Zalera 4, the planet glowed under a purple sky. Blue flowers covered the ground in patches. Ash and dust still lingered near the cities. Many buildings were broken. Rivers ran low of water. The Horizon entered orbit. Lieutenant Parker read the landing coordinates. "We have a safe zone near the old capital city," Wells ordered. "Prepare to land." The landing gear lowered. The ship descended slowly. On the landing pad, a small crowd of aliens waited. Some wore masks to protect from dust, others carried sacks. Kate and Emma stood near the airlock. John held Kate's hand and looked at the crowd. The airlock hissed and opened. Maria led the way, carrying a crate of medicine. Pete and Layla followed. With food supplies, John helped Kate and Emma down the ramp. The air felt heavy but warm. Kate's single quotes S mother, Arya, stepped forward. She was thin and wore faded robes, her eyes filled with tears. Arya rushed to Kate and hugged her. Kate hugged back, tightly. Emma ran to Arya and climbed into her arms. Arya spoke in Zaleri. Kate answered. John watched. He saw the love between mother and daughter. Arya guided Kate and Emma toward the crates. She sorted packages and handed rations to people. A young boy approached John. He held out a small stone. The stone glowed faintly. The boy said a word John did not understand. Kate translated, "He offers you a gift of welcome." John smiled and accepted the stone. That afternoon, the Horizon crew helped unload supplies. Maria organized food distribution. Pete repaired broken water pumps. Lila checked the atmosphere filters. John and Lily treated wounded aliens in a makeshift clinic. In the clinic, an old man lay on a cot. His skin had scars. He coughed gently. Lily held his hand and gave him a vial of medicine. John told Kate, "I will stay here to help." Kate nodded and smiled. Emma followed John into the clinic. She held the metal bird toy. She watched as John gave water to a young girl. The girl held Emma's hand. Emma laughed softly. As dusk fell, lights turned on near the clinic. The Horizon's crew gathered around a fire pit. Kate joined them. Arya sat beside her. John stood near the flames, watching. Wells raised a cup of hot tea. "To new beginnings," he said. John repeated, "To new beginnings." All raised their cups and drank. Kate leaned to John. "Thank you," John smiled. "We did good." Emma climbed onto John's lap and hugged him. That night, John walked with Kate to a shelter tent. Inside, families slept on mats. Kate and Emma settled into a small space. Emma whispered, "Thank you, John." John knelt and said, "Good night, Emma." Kate smiled and closed her eyes. John stepped outside. The sky was purple, with 2 moons. He stood alone and looked at the stars. He thought of Sarah, his sister. He missed her. He wondered if she would ever see this place. A sudden shout came. John ran toward the noise. A group of aliens stood near a broken water pump. Water leaked from a crack. People were upset, for water was precious. Pete and Maria were there. Maria knelt and examined the pump. Pete held a wrench. John knelt beside. He saw the crack. Maria said, "We need a metal seal." John thought of the ship's cargo. He said, "We have repair kits on the Horizon." Wells would allow it. John called on "Come." "Horizon, this is John. Send down 2 repair kits." After a pause, Pete replied, "Received." John smiled. Maria used the kit to seal the crack. Water flowed freely again. The aliens cheered. A child ran to Emma and gave her a flower. Emma smiled. Later, John and Kate sat by a small fire. They warmed their hands. Kate asked, "Will you stay here longer?" John looked at her. "I must return to the Horizon, but I will come back." Kate nodded, hope in her eyes. Emma slept. Behind them, her breaths were soft. John and Kate stayed by the fire until dawn. The next day, the Horizon lifted off. Kate and Emma waved. Arya held Emma and waved too. John watched from the deck. The ship rose into the sky. As they returned to orbit, John tapped a message to Sarah. "I found a home for Kate and Emma. They are safe. I will write more soon." He sent it. Captain Wells entered the control room. "Good work, everyone," he said. "Our mission is complete." Maria smiled. Pete nodded. Lily entered and said, "Kate and Emma will thrive. We saved many lives." John felt pride. The Horizon moved toward the stars. The crew returned to duties. John looked at the empty seat near Kate's old spot. He thought of the bond they built. Outside the porthole, the nebula glowed again. John whispered, "We carry hope with us." The Horizon sailed on, ready for the next journey. The Horizon rose into the sky. John watched the landing pad shrink below. Kate held Emma's hand. Emma stared at the ship's engines. A smile played on her lips. She whispered, "Will we come back?" John knelt beside her. "I promise," he said. Kate placed a hand on John's shoulder. He nodded. Inside the control room, Captain Wells studied charts. "We should stay in orbit for a day to monitor conditions on the ground," he said. Lila agreed. "The atmosphere is still unstable. Dust storms may form." Wells nodded. John and Pete walked to the galley. Pete poured coffee. "We did well," he said. John sipped and stared out the window. "Yes, but we left them in a fragile place." Pete patted his back. "They are survivors. They will rebuild." In the observation lounge, Maria and Lily discussed supplies. Maria said, "We have enough food for 6 more days." "We should ration strictly," Lily frowned. "Kate and Emma will need extra care. We can spare some vitamins." Maria nodded. John found Kate and Emma. They sat on a bench near the porthole. Emma held a small rock, a glowstone from Zalera 4. Kate asked, "Can we see the nebula again?" John tapped the controls. The nebula appeared on the screen. Blue and green clouds swirled. Emma clapped. "It is beautiful," she said. John smiled. Kate looked at him. "Thank you," she whispered. John nodded. A sudden alert rang. Lila shouted, "Asteroid field ahead." The crew rushed to stations. Captain Wells ordered, "Brace for impact." The horizon shook. Alarms blared. John grabbed a handhold. Pete secured a console. Sparks flew as lights flickered. Outside, chunks of rock pounded the hull. The ship groaned. Maria and Pete worked the shields. Lily checked the med bay. Kate and Emma held each other. John reached the control room. He told Wells, "We need full power to shields. Divert all to port side." Wells nodded. Lila adjusted power. The shields flared green on one side. After tense moments, the rocks passed. Silence followed. The ship trembled. Wells breathed heavily. "Status report," Layla said. "Minimal hull damage. Shields held." "No injuries," Wells exhaled. "Good work, team." John found Kate. She was pale but smiling. Emma hugged him. "John," she whispered. John said, "You are safe now." Kate kissed Emma's head. That night, the crew gathered in the mess hall. Captain Wells raised a cup. "To survival and hope," he said. The crew echoed. Kate and Emma joined them. Emma sat on John's lap. After the meal, John led Kate and Emma to the garden dome. Plants glowed under lights. Clara stood by. "We made a home for these seeds," she said. She handed Emma a small sprout in a pot. Emma's eyes shone. Kate thanked Clara. "Your kindness will grow," she said. Clara smiled. John and Kate walked on the deck. The stars were bright beyond the glass. Kate leaned on John. "What will you do next?" John thought. "I will explore new worlds. But I will always remember Zalera 4. Kate nodded. A calm voice came from Com. "Signal from NASA base?" Pete said. Wells looked at the screen. An urgent message from Earth. John's eyes widened. He knew a new mission awaited. John turned to Kate. She looked at him questioningly. He said, "We may be needed elsewhere, but I will come back to you." Kate smiled bravely. Emma held John's finger. She said, "Promise?" John knelt. "I promise," he said. Emma and Kate hugged him. As the horizon set course for home, John looked back at the purple sky of Zalera 4. He whispered, "Goodbye for now. I will see you again." Kate and Emma waved from the PORTHOL. Time passed. The ship jumped through space. John sat at his desk writing to Sarah. He wrote, "We faced danger and survived. I carry hope from Zalera. For with me, I look forward to seeing them again." Soon, the blue planet of Earth appeared on the view screen. John felt relief. He thought of home. He thought of Kate and Emma. The horizon would carry their story across the stars. The next chapter of his journey was just beginning. The horizon left Earth behind. John stood in the control room, watching the stars pass. The crew prepared for their next mission. Kate and Emma had returned home, but their story stayed with John. Captain Wells entered. "We have new orders," he said. John nodded. Wells continued, Explore the broken moon of Azor. Scanner readings show life signs. We depart in 30 minutes. John walked to the mess hall. He found Pete and Maria. Pete poured coffee. Another mission, he said. John sipped. Life signs on a dead moon. This could be dangerous. Maria frowned. We must help if we can. In the hangar, the crew loaded supplies. John checked the manifest. He added extra rations and med kits. Lily thanked him. Always prepared, she said. John shrugged. Hope no one goes hungry. The ship jumped to the moon. Azor loomed on the screen. Its surface was cracked with blackened craters. No atmosphere remained. Yet green patches glowed faintly. Lyla said, The life signs are near the southeast crater. Wells ordered, Prepare a shuttle. John joined Pete and Maria on the lower deck. They suited up in protective gear. The shuttle bay door opened. Kate single quotes S. Voice came over come. John paused. Kate? He asked softly. Kate replied, I sent you a message before you left. I'm safe. Emma is well. We planted the first garden seeds. John smiled. I am proud. Return home soon. Kate answered, When you finish, come back to us. John closed come and boarded the shuttle. Pete piloted. Maria sat beside him. John secured his seat. The shuttle lifted and left the horizon. The surface grew larger. Maria said, We have touchdown. The shuttle landed with a bump. They stepped onto the dusty ground. The air filter hummed. In their masks, John scanned the area. Green plants grew near cracks. The plants glowed softly. Maria knelt and touched a leaf. These survive in darkness? Pete checked his scanner. Life signs ahead. They followed the readings. The ground sloped into a crater. At the bottom, a small group of creatures huddled. They were short, with glowing eyes and thin bodies. They shivered. John approached quietly. He knelt and said, I am John. We come in peace. One creature stepped forward. Its skin was gray. It spoke in clicks. Pete played the translation tool. We are cold and hungry. Maria opened a supply pack. She offered rations. The creatures ate slowly. Their bodies glowed brighter. John smiled. You are safe now. The creatures clicked happily. Lily's voice crackled in come. We have a problem. A dust storm approaches. You must leave soon. Pete looked at the sky. Dark clouds swirled. He said, We go back. The creatures waved glowing limbs. Back in the shuttle, they closed the door. Maria secured a crate of plants. Pete flew them back to the horizon. The storm hit the moon as they rose. Dust whipped around them. Inside the horizon. The crew gathered. Wells praised them. You saved another people? Well done. John felt tired, but happy. Later, in his quarters, John saw a message from Sarah. She wrote, I am proud of you. You make a difference. John replied, Your words give me strength. John thought of Kate and Emma. He sent Kate a message. The mission is done. I will return home soon. Wait for me. Kate answered with a heart emoji. As the horizon set course back to Zalera 4, John knew that kindness guided him. He looked at the stars and whispered, To new lives, new hope, and those we help along the way.